Sorry about that. And I'll go ahead and redo this. My name is Cherrell. I'm the host of Let's Talk the Show, you guys, and this ain't a podcast. I want to thank you guys for joining me this Tuesday, as you do every Tuesday. Make sure you guys go ahead and follow me here on Instagram at MissCarter_1X. I do want to apologize to everyone that was just on the live with us. Somehow, social media acts really weird and it won't load sometimes for me, but what can you do? Again, if you guys are just joining, make sure you drop in my comment section something that you're grateful for. That's the ritual that we have here at Let's Talk. And we're going to continue to keep that throughout the year. It's really important to recognize the things that you're grateful for, because a lot of the times, we just don't, acknowledge what we're grateful for. We're always reaching for the next thing. But we're not going to go way back through that. Our special guest has joined. I'm so excited. And we're going to get her on so we can get this party started, y'all. All right, so bear with me here. Let's just pray this works. Ooh, and it's loading. Let's see here. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? It's so nice to meet you.
Yeah, so nice to meet you. Let me back this up because this thing too much in my face, child. All right, that's better.
It's so nice to see you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for asking. I just finished up with a client, so I'm a bit tired, but I'm here for you, babes. I'm here, I promise.
Y'all, look at her. She's still here for us. Okay, I am so excited to talk with you today, Alison. The ritual is that when you join the show, you got to give us something that you're grateful for.
Okay, so I'm going to say that I am grateful for my amazing and supportive husband. We've been married for 4 months strong. We're newlyweds, so we are all in each other's faces and just love each other so much above and beyond. But he's just extremely supportive and just an amazing man. So that's what I'm appreciative of.
This love, y'all. I'm just here for this love. Okay, so since we're talking about newlyweds, tell me a little bit, where did you and your husband meet?
So we actually met many years ago. We were both 18. And he was working at a coffee shop, and then I was next door at a cookie shop. And I guess he walked past, and the shop that I was in is like full glass, so you can see right in really bright. And he just saw all this amazing goodness,
right?
And decided that he was going to step in and bag me, as the young folks used to say. And he was successful, so we dated for a bit. But then he went off to college, and I stayed home, and we just kind of separated kind of naturally. It wasn't no big thing or a big breakup or anything like that. And we remained in contact over the years, just through Facebook and happy birthday posts on a page and so on and so forth. And then once we both were single, we decided that we would give it another chance.
What? And now you're married and happy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Alison, I am super excited to talk with you. No offense to all my other guests. I want to say that you probably are the most anticipated guest. Everybody has been sending me questions left and right since I'm like, what questions y'all got sent them? So they done sent me a bunch of them. We got somebody in the comment section saying that they need to take this topic from me. I said they got to find another guest. They can't have you because you on mine first. So.
That's right.
Okay, so let's jump right into it. You are a dating and relationship coach. What made you want to become this type of coach?
Yes, so I'll be transparent. Initially, when I decided that I wanted to coach, I actually just wanted to be a life coach. And so it wasn't until after I completed the coursework and I became a certified life coach that I started to investigate, like, well, how do I build this coaching business? Because I don't have a degree in business. My prior degrees are in education and then in counseling and then now in coaching. So I'm not nor. So I began to take business classes. And as I took these business classes, I was taught and told that you cannot be just a life coach. Like, if you go out into this world saying I'm a life coach and I help you fix things, then you're not really speaking to anybody. And what you need to do is niche down and really dig deep and come to a realization of where your passions are and where your talents are and what have you been doing for the majority of your life or your adult life. And what I've been doing is advising my friends on what they should and shouldn't do in their romantic endeavors. Most of them don't listen, which is okay, because people don't listen until they're prepared to listen, right? So we accept that. I give my advice and then I walk away. After it's asked of me, I don't do unsolicited advice because nobody definitely wants to hear that. And so that's when I decided to niche down and become a dating and relationship coach, because those are the things that I've been talking about my entire adult life.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. do you ever feel like this, your coach, and I know at this point now it just comes natural. Do you ever feel that pressure to just naturally want to give that advice? How do you manage that? Like you said, unsolicited advice. How do you just not be who you just are all the time?
So I actually had a little bit of a blow up with a good friend of mine in our early 20s. And she called me with some complaint about her boyfriend. And I told her very straightforwardly, as I always speak, what she should do or what have you. I don't even remember what the advice was. I don't even know what the problem was. But all I remember her saying is her crying on the other end of the phone and saying, oh, you're so insensitive. And I just wanted to share how I felt. And I just wanted to vent. And so I said, you know what? I've learned my lesson. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to shut up. And I'm going to mind my business, and I'm going to allow you to vent to some extent. To some extent, I'm going to allow you to vent. And then I'm going to ask you, do you want to know what I think? And if you say yes, then I'll tell you what I think. If you say no, then I say, okay, and I continue to shut up. Now, in regards to like the advice that people solicit from me via DM, well, they came into my DMs and they asked me. So I know that no holds barred. I could just go and say whatever I want to say, and there's no concern about whether or not they'll take the advice or be offended. But in regards to the people in my life, I ask them, do you want to know what I think? And then 99% of the time they say yes. And then I go ahead and say what I got to say.
I like that. I think you guys listen really quick. I think that is a great tip when it comes to anything. When someone is venting to you, ask them if they want your advice. Some people do just need a listening ear. And I really like that. And that's something that I'm going to use now. I really like that. We've just gotten started and I'm already learning stuff. And I like this, okay? I like that. So you said that you've been giving dating advice all this time. So I like to think, so you must be a pro at dating. You've been knowing your husband for quite some time now. How have you navigated through dating life, being a dating coach?
Mm-hmm. So to be honest with you, my personal experience comes from relationships. I'm the relationship lady. Like I'm moving on to the next. If it didn't work out, I'm okay. I'm able to heal quickly and let go and compartmentalize. So I move on. So my personal expertise comes from relationships. The dating piece is something I had to learn. So that was like the research and YouTube videos and interviewing other coaches who have 20 years, 25 years in the game, and creating fake profiles on dating apps so I could learn the dating apps and which ones are valuable and which ones aren't, and learning from my friends. So that was something, the dating piece is something that I really had to like figure out on my own before I launched. But the romance side and the romantic relationship side is something that my real life, like those are my real life experiences.
Wow. Okay, that makes a lot of sense then. So let's jump right into this dating. Lori Harvey is the topic of discussion when it comes to dating, when it comes to women and sex and what is a hoe. Let's jump right into this. I think that what you just said is a great example of Lori Harvey. She does not stay very long. If she does not like it, she's not satisfied, she's on to the next. What do you think about women dating multiple men at one time? Or if you're just not happy, just leave it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have an entire ebook called Move On Sis, absolutely free. Link is in my bio, right? So I am a proponent of moving on expeditiously when you are not pleased or fulfilled in your romantic relationships. Not only are you doing a disservice to yourself, which is what most people talk about, but the side that people don't talk about is you're also doing a disservice to the person that you're with. Exactly. Because one, either you're not being honest with them, so they're under the impression that everything is sweet and it's not, and you're wasting their time. Or two, they know that it's not good, but he doesn't have the ability or she doesn't have the ability to pull the plug. So you got to be the big, strong one in a relationship and just be honest and say, we both know this isn't working and it's just best for us to move forward before we get onto the cheating and the lying and the disrespect and things of that nature.
I definitely agree with you there. I agree with you there. And I admire women who can say, this ain't it, I'm out to the left. And I think that society has this big old pressure or weight sitting on women that decide that just because I've dated him this week and it didn't work out doesn't mean I can't date somebody next week and that might be the one for me. As a woman, how have you navigated through your dating life in dealing with that pressure from just saying, I don't want this and leaving without that fear she's bouncing from man to man?
Mm-hmm. So in all fairness, I want to answer the other part of your question that you just asked me that I didn't answer, which was what are my thoughts about dating, like actively dating more than one person? And hopefully it'll also lead to this question. So I am a believer in dating multiple people at the same time. I am a believer in that. Now let's define what dating is, because folks tend to use the word dating and they're not all using it in the same context. And then that's where a lot of confusion comes in. So I define dating as having romantic communication and spending romantic time with someone. I do not define dating as having sex with them. You may have not decided to cross that line with that individual. And so to date, to have romantic conversations and to go places with a romantic interest, AKA a date, does not mean that you are sexually involved with more than one person at a time. I would not recommend being sexually involved with more than one person at a time. I don't think it's healthy. Emotions get really deep. Things get unclear. Folks think that you're together when you're not. It wasn't established. It's a problem. So I don't recommend having sex with more than one person at a time. However, I do recommend dating and getting to know more than one person at a time and being honest and upfront about it so that no one person feels like they're being played or they're being misled.
I love that. I love that. I think the most important thing that you said there is the upfront and the honest part. Most people fear the truth, or they fear the consequences of the truth. You lie about who you're dating because you don't want to lose this, and you're only doing yourself and them a disservice. You could be letting them go and then moving on and finding the best thing that ever happened to you. But you need to be honest, and you need to be honest up front. Quit lying.
Yep, absolutely.
Please stop lying to these people. Okay. So when you're dating up front, and maybe you decide that you don't want to, obviously engage with sex with everyone. How are you weeding? What is the process, or what do you think are some ways that women can just weed through these guys?
Absolutely. So if we're talking about 2021, if we're talking about COVID, a lot of the initial meetups, or how folks are meeting in the first place, is through dating apps. So let's talk about from that approach. If you are on a dating app, the first thing that you can use in order to navigate and to vet and to see whether or not someone is an appropriate match is to stop being cheap and paying for that app. Stop being cheap and pay for the app. And the reason why I say that is if you're on dating apps, you're aware that depending on if you're paying for that version or not, you have more access to their profile and more access to information. The more access to information you have, whether or not it's honest, is questionable, right? You still have to go through your own processes. But the initial thing is if I have access to your profile, full access, then I can gain more information than I would if I didn't. And then I could use your own words to decide whether or not I think you're an appropriate match. Once I have full access, I can see, do you have children? Is that a deal breaker for me? Once I have full access, I can see your occupation, and I'll see if that's a deal breaker for me. I can see your location. So full access is number one. That's the first way that you can start the process of vetting. Next, with your own profile, you need to be a couple of things. One, 100% honest about your intentions. If you are on this dating profile because you are looking for a long-term relationship, you need to say that. It is imperative that you are upfront, because again, we always talk about what the other person is doing. Right. Let's talk about you. We're not putting, I'm here for a good time. We're not putting, I'm here to make friends, if that's not what you're here for. You want to use that very targeted language because you want to make sure that whoever, and this is important, whoever is seeing it who doesn't want that will not connect with you, not who does. Because when you're looking for a partner, I use this example all the time, and I don't even know the right terminology. It's when you're looking for gold. And you've seen the old movies, and they have the thing and they're shaking it in the river, and all the dirt comes out. Yep. Right. And then the golden nuggets, they stay at the top. And I'm not saying that a guy or a girl who is not an appropriate match is dirt. I'm just saying we're sifting through what we don't want so that what we do want stays on the top. And so the language that you use on your dating profile is going to help you to attract the right mates, but more importantly, repel the wrong ones. If you want children, say that. If you want to be married, if marriage is a non-negotiable for you, you need to say that. You're not saying what you don't want. You're saying what you do want and what you see in your life moving forward. There's more, but I'm going to stop and I'm going to let you get a word in.
I was just sitting here like taking notes to myself, like, you know what, God, I need to do this. I do have a quick question about those dating profiles. I had a conversation with a friend, and we agreed that if you are paying for a dating site, the quality of the people that you're going to meet are going to be much better. Nobody likes to waste their time or their money.
That is absolutely true. You are going to find higher quality people, higher value people. And when I say high value, I don't mean the way that we've been using in the last couple of weeks in terms of salary. High value people in terms of morals and values and salary and whatever else are your standards. you are going to find those people, and they're going to be more likely. Again, nothing is 100%. This is a process. It's a constant shaking to get the dirt out, right? You're going to find more high quality people on paid apps versus the free ones. If it's free, it's for me. When you get what you pay for. All those expressions.
Boom. That's the best way to think of it. You get what you pay for. I like that. So sifting through the men that you're dating apps. I just want to ask, would Match.com be a good one? I know Match is like the biggest one that I've seen so far. Christian, I don't know about Christian Mingle. I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
So let me tell you, I get this question all the time, like which apps are the best apps? And there are not many hard and fast rules to answer that question. I can tell you, and I hope I don't get sued. I need to stop saying, y'all need to stop asking me this question because I feel like I'm going to get sued one day. Any app that's free, i.e. like Honey and Fish, like those kind of apps, no. But it's hard to give a hard and fast answer because different apps serve the needs of different people. I have a client who's 49 years old. I remember I just said in passing, like, I'm a big fan of Coffee Meets Bagel, which I am. She got on Coffee Meets Bagel. She paid for it. And she said, Alice, everybody's here. Everybody who is here is in their 30s. Damn, I messed up. What I should have told her is for her, an appropriate match would have been Our Time. For her, an appropriate match would have been Silver. So it really depends on where you are in your life and what the target audience is for that app. Gotcha. That is going to determine if that's an appropriate match for you. If you exclusively want to date Black, then Match may not be an appropriate match for you. So on and so forth. So it really depends on what you're looking for and where you are in your life. And that's going to determine what's an appropriate match.
That makes a lot of sense. I love that. So definitely keep in mind when you're looking to date these people, whoever you're trying to target, you need to make sure that site is targeted specifically for those type of people.
Yep.
I love that. So we're moving through this little dating process. You just sifting through the man. Now you got in a little relationship. At what point, or should you wait for a man to say that you guys are exclusive, or how does that move go into, you should only be putting your eggs in one basket?
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to take a step before we're in a little relationship, as you put it with your shoulders, a little relationship. So before that, so we're clear on the dating app. We're choosing the right apps. We're clear on the apps, what we're looking for. We're using targeted language. We're communicating with more than one person. So we're dating more than one person. And what you're going to do is you're going to feel out whether it, like, out of that group, out of those 3 people or 4 people, whatever it is, who you are just the most attracted to, who seems to be the best match for you, who do you enjoy, who is checking off your non-negotiables. I preach about you must have a list of non-negotiables. What are those 5 things, not 35? What are those 5 things that are imperative that you absolutely cannot date a person unless they have A, B, C, D, and E? That's 5, right? A, B, C, D, and E. Good. And so once you have figured out of the 3 or 4 that you're dating, who is really just the best match for you, then if you are a woman, you can have that conversation. It's ridiculous to think that you, as a woman in 2021, who has an expectation that we're making the same salary as men, that we're treated with respect, equality, 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 but yet we say, oh no, he has to be the one to ask if he wants to be my girlfriend. Now, I do draw a line, and that's an engagement. I'm not getting down on no knee. I'm not doing that. But generally speaking, when it comes to the easier things, there's nothing wrong with a woman saying to her partner, hey, babes, we've been dating for the last couple of months. I'm really into you. I would like for us to commit. What are your thoughts? And then if he or she says, I agree. I'm actually not even seeing anybody else. And you laugh like, damn, I was. But actually, I'm not even seeing anybody else. Girl, I been thought we was exclusive. What you talking about? Oh, good. I'm just glad. But you have to get the words. If you don't get the words, y'all are nothing. You could be having intimate sex. You could have met his family. You could have moved in his house. You are nothing until someone has said the words. Like they used to do on Saved by the Bell, where you used to wear the varsity jacket. Yep. And that was the thing.
That was the thing. That's how you know it was real.
Yeah. I need clear communication or it's not real.
I like that. I really love that. I think that is a conversation that you should not be afraid to have. And I think that's why a lot of women and men find themselves in situationships, and you're arguing with someone else's girlfriend or whoever they may be dating because you never got the say so or the clear, the clear green scheme to go. So you need to have that conversation. This is every time you make a point, at the end of everything that keeps coming up is communication. And we're definitely going to talk about whether it's communication or comprehension, because that was also a conversation I had in a couple episodes ago. So you got that clear communication. You guys are in a goal. This is your relationship. How do you, and this is such a vague question, we're gonna say you hit a little rough patch. How are you maintaining this 1.5-year relationship? How do you get through those things? Or is that a conversation that also needs to be had between you and your partner about if this is something you guys want to continue?
So I think what's imperative is that we have to define what a rough patch is. And so if both parties feel like it's a rough patch, then it's a rough patch, and we can skip right over the patch to nice green pastures, right? Like we just skip right over it. But if you're talking about somebody had a whole baby, that's not a, you know what I mean? Like we just need to make sure that both of us are on the same page in regards to this is just a tough time that we're having. Not that you have ghosted me and I haven't heard from you in 3 weeks. There's some things, and we all define what's forgivable or not forgivable. And I'm not passing judgment on anyone who, whatever, right? But for me, there are some things that are a rough patch that we both understand is just a difficult situation right now. And there are some things that are unforgivable, and this is not a patch. It is absolutely over. It is a dead end.
Let's talk about infidelity. Can you get past infidelity, or does it matter on your level or how you define the severity of the situation? Oh, wait, let's see here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it just froze up a little bit. The last thing I heard was infidelity.
Okay, so how do you get past infidelity, or does it matter on how you rate the severity of the situation?
How do you get past infidelity?
And let's use our example. They had a baby on the side. I'm sorry, I'm leaving. I understand. I'm ghosting, baby.
Yeah, that's me. I'm out. And I cannot imagine how anyone is able to get over something like that. I cannot imagine it. I think the only way that I can imagine it, it's still not appropriate for me and doesn't match my values. But if it's like a break baby or something along those lines, then perhaps someone can be reasonable. I am not reasonable in that regard. I will not allow another child into my life that is not my own or a blood relative of mine.
I'm gonna have to slide to the left because I will be gone. I'm so sorry. Okay, so you know what? This is the perfect time. Let's get to a question. We got a couple questions, okay? They came for you, Alison. They was not playing. So this was a question from Fifi on Facebook. Is it possible for a relationship to recover after infidelity?
Yes.
Is that possible for any relationship?
Yes. I would imagine that it depends. There's a couple of things that it depends on. It depends on when it occurred. And every Wednesday I go live around 9 a.m. and I get the same thing. People send me questions and I go live and I share it. And the question that I received, which I'm going to share as well tomorrow, was how long does it take or should it take for someone to let go of their hoes? Meaning, if I've been dating someone and we're now committed, how much time should I give them to cut the cord with other people that they were seeing? Does it take them hours? Does it take them days? And so I think it depends on, in regards to your question about infidelity, I want to know when it occurred. If you cheated on me a week after we became official because there was some questionableness about you separating yourself with this other chick, I think I might be more inclined to forgive that versus someone that I have 5 years invested with.
Yeah.
I'm right. So, or someone might be more inclined to forgive their husband or their wife, ironically, because they have so much invested in regards to their home and their children and their property than they would a boyfriend that they've had for 3 months. So there are lots of factors that are involved. I can imagine. I'm not judging either one. If you forgive the guy that cheated on you a week in or 20 years in, I'm not judging. I'm just saying. So it really depends on the circumstances, whether or not someone should choose to forgive. But is there room for forgiveness? Yes, I think so.
Okay. I like that. I want to add, I think that you need to have, when it comes to those type of things, that you need to have a serious talk with yourself, and you need to think about why you're swaying either way when it comes to things like that. You gotta, we had a lot of conversations about this episode. This episode was hot. Like, everybody was waiting for this. And the question came up was whether it was a matter of self-love. how you valued yourself, whether or not you forgave someone for betraying you in a way like that. And I think that you have to bring your self-love into account when you start to forgive people for things, because you do not want to open the floodgates for them to do those type of things again, and eventually you just become a doormat, because now at this point, where do you draw the line that they can't do what they want to do? And how do you deal with that? How would you advise someone deal with a situation like that, where they feel like they've just allowed so much to go on and now there's no respect for that? Is that possible to recover from, or is that something you just need to dead the situation completely?
I think if someone is a repeat offender, that they're not going to stop. And as you said, there's going to be this feeling of disrespect, constant disrespect and disregard. Then I don't think there's any healing from that. I don't think that cheating is a mistake because you mistakenly picked up your phone and sent a text message and took a shower and got in your car and went to our house. Like, it's not a mistake, right? But I can imagine that someone had a lapse of judgment. They weren't thinking straight. They were driven emotionally for whatever reason. And I think there's room for forgiveness. But if this is habitual, then I think that this person has no respect for you, and it's best that you leave immediately.
I like that. Can cheaters be born again? Can they become people that don't cheat, or is this something that somebody may need to seek counseling for?
I think the way that you worded it, cheaters, right? So like there's someone who has cheated and a cheater. Yeah. I've lied. I'm not a liar.
Gotcha.
Right? So I would say that someone who has cheated has the ability to choose not to cheat moving forward. I think someone who is a cheater, again, it's habitual and it's not even circumstantial. Like they do it just because. I don't know if you remember, I don't even know which Sex and the City it was. If it was 1 or 2, I can't recall. But there was a scene where Miranda, the redhead one, she was having sex with her husband, fiance, the dude who owned the bar. And they were doing it. And then she said something along the lines of like, let's get this over with, I think was the phrase. That was the straw that broke the camel's back for him. And he decided that he was going to go out and he cheated on her. And of course it's terrible and blah, blah, blah. But I remember when I saw that scene and I'm like, ooh, like she shouldn't be saying that in the middle of sex. She's making it abundantly clear she has no desire to have sex with her husband. And so now what, did he have the right to cheat on her thereafter? No. Is it understandable? Yeah, it's understandable. So a difference between someone who has cheated and a cheater is that, is it a circumstance or this is just something you enjoy to do?
Right. You definitely got to make that distinguish. I like that there. I see you guys are dropping questions. Go ahead and submit those questions through the thing. I do have a couple more things I want to discuss with Alison, and then we're going to run through your questions. I have not forgotten about y'all. Thank you for everyone for all the love, all the questions. You're getting a lot of praise in the comment section here. Okay, so communication versus comprehension. I had this discussion with another guest, and she said that comprehension is key, is not communication. I said that communication is key because if you don't have anything to talk about, you don't have anything to even understand. So which one, not that either one is more important. I know both of those are equally as important, but which one do you need before the other one to get anywhere?
You got to communicate to have comprehension.
Okay.
I can't understand. I'm not a mind reader. I'm not Cleo, right? Miss Cleo, call me out. Like I can't read your mind. So we need to be able to communicate first in a respectful manner and in a clear manner. Then we have the comprehension of what was said, and then we take action or take steps accordingly. So communication comes first, and then comprehension must follow up in order for a change to occur or for action to be taken.
I like it. I like it. And then we're going to move forward. You got a relationship you guys are in. I don't know, maybe people talk about this before they're in a relationship. Body count. This is a big thing. This is a big thing with Lori. Does your body count disqualify you from finding a good quality man?
Well, first, I'd like to say that I think it's imperative that we're not presumptuous because we don't know what and who Lori slept with or didn't sleep with, or who we don't know, right? So we're presumptuous because she's dated some quote unquote high quality or famous or celebrities or what have you, that automatically she was involved with them sexually. Now, if she was, I still don't judge her, but let's not be presumptuous because we don't know. So being concerned about other people's body counts are weird. It's weird and we need to stop. So to answer your question though, I don't think it's an appropriate question to ask.
Really?
I would not ask, nor would I answer. what bearing does that have on my ability to be an amazing partner to you? Unless my body count is continuing because I'm cheating on you, then that's your business.
Then you gotta question that one. That's different.
Right. But what? Now, I would say it's imperative, like if someone's dating and you know that you slept with their friend or you slept with their brother or you slept with their whatever, then I think that that's important to share. But the actual numbers for what? What difference is that going to make? There's people who have had sex with one partner and gotten HIV/AIDS the first time out. So it's not a health issue.
Look.
Right? It's not a health thing. And if it is a health thing, that big of a deal, then the both of you should walk into a clinic, get tested, wait 6 months, get tested again, and then get involved.
Boom. And we know very few people are doing that. We know very few people are doing that just with STD rates. But so, yeah, let's talk about women's time frame and society's time frame. I want to be married in a relationship. How did you deal with that pressure? How should women be dealing with that pressure? Because I feel like it's gotten even stronger now.
Just yesterday, I think there was Michelle Williams from Destiny's Child gave a respectful read to a gentleman who went in her comments and told her that she's bored and she needs to occupy her time with children. And she read him, as she should, as a good Christian woman did. She read him the riot act and told him in essence to mind his business. He doesn't know what her reproductive system is about. He doesn't know her plans and her desires. And it, again, presumptuous to assume that every woman wants a child, even though that's the norm probably, but that's not the case for everybody, nor can every woman produce a child.
Exactly.
How did I deal with the pressure? I didn't do it well. I probably complained and bitched to my friends and called my friends about, just general. I talk about it all the time. I talk about it to my husband. Societal pressures and how unfair. I posted it's probably in my stories right now, the same read. I talk about it all the time. It really bothers me. I think it's just unfair that women are put under this immense pressure to find a perfect match, to be married, to have a child by a certain age. Some of it is societal, but some of it is biological.
Yeah, definitely.
So you can't deny the biology. And even me, I told my husband just yesterday that I kind of feel bad sometimes when I talk about it because I feel like I'm furthering the issue. But it is a fact that biologically women's time is limited. And so if we do decide to have children, then we do have to act immediately. We have to date with intention. We have to vet. We have to date more than one person. We have to make our intentions clear from the absolute beginning so that we're getting rid of folks who aren't on the same page and let this person know my intention is a long-term commitment. My intention is marriage. My intention is no children, 2 children, 10 children. Make it clear so that hopefully the other person you met is a decent human being and will excuse themselves out of the picture if they're not on the same page as you.
And you need to be able to cut those people loose if they're not able to.
Absolutely.
I like that. Moving on, you get into a marriage, and I always want to talk about prenups. I like to, and to me, and maybe I'm not married. Well, I'm not married. And once I get, maybe I'll feel otherwise. Are prenups planning for the end? How do you feel about a couple that get married? She wants a prenup. He wants a prenup. What do you feel about prenups?
Again, I don't think it's a hard and fast answer. I think it's a conversation that should be had pretty quickly after we've committed. So I'm not talking about prenups with a girl that I take to the movies. Right. But if there's someone who I'm now in a committed relationship with and we begin to talk about marriage, then as soon as it's, hey, babes, we've been together for a while now, I'm thinking about marriage, it's going to be, well, sis, let me tell you. You know that my dad left me this $1 million policy, whatever. You know that I'm in the NFL. You know that I have this hair company, and you know that I'm well-to-do. And so the only way that I feel comfortable, and this is what the person believes, the only way I feel comfortable getting married is to legally secure that money. What are your thoughts? And then we move forward. If this is something that the other person is staunchly against, then we're not an appropriate match, and we cycle through again. I would not ask the person who feels like they want to do it that they shouldn't, nor would I ask the person who doesn't want to do it to sign it. Gotcha. Go with what you feel most comfortable with. I feel like, and this is just Allison, if my husband had all that type of money, I think I would sign. I don't know for a fact because I'm not in that position, right? We're both coming from middle-class families. So I think I would sign because my mentality is that I'm going to have access to the money anyway. And I'm going to be able to flip that money so much so in my own endeavors that I wouldn't need to rely on him if we separate anyway. That's just my logic. And again, I could be wrong because I've never been in that circumstance.
Right. I like that. I like that. It said that's what I did with my husband. We were on the same page. I ain't married. I ain't got no man, so I don't know what I do. We even get there. We'll talk about that years from now. I don't know. But you are really big on accountability, self-reflection. I want to talk about that because like you even hinted at it even earlier in the episode. We always talk about what the other person do and not what we do. Mm-hmm. How somebody that wants to improve their dating experience, they want to get better at dating. Tell me about that self-reflection and how does someone begin that process with themselves, even if they don't decide to seek you out as a dating coach?
Mm-hmm. So what I would imagine they should do is, one, stop using social media as a journal and buy one, right? Ooh. And we need to document, like how we used to do, like we've done for hundreds of, thousands of years as humanity. Like as soon as we had a written language, we wrote stuff down and not put it out publicly. But you need to journal and you need to recollect exactly what occurred in the relationship, not the way that it made you feel to the best of your ability, but what exactly occurred. The second thing I would do is I would use a friend who I found that was insightful. So not any old friend, not the friend that's for links and drinks, right? Like my friend who I know is always like kind of like Buddha, like they really just have the answers and the know-how. And I would tell them, girl, I used to date such and stuff, and tell me based on what the stories I told you, what were your thoughts? I know you really never spoke about it, never asked you your opinion, but where did you think we went wrong? And actually take heed to what they said. Well, Alison, you can be really rough around the edges. Well, Alison, you're a Brooklyn girl, you a little tough. Oh, Alison, you can be argumentative. So maybe that played a part. Whatever it may be, ask someone that's on the outside looking in. And if you have access, healthy access to someone who may still be friends around that other person that you used to date, ask them, hey bro, hope all is well, don't mean to bother, I'm just trying to become a better version of me, and I know that you are on the other side of the relationship with me and so, and I don't want you to break any boy codes, but could you give me some insight, like what do you think I did wrong? Ask other people, because they may be able to see what you couldn't see.
I love it.
And if that's not enough, therapy or pro.
I like that. Is it ever okay to reach out to that person and say, can we talk about where you think I'm at? Is that ever okay? Or do you need to be in a secure spot before you can do so, not to cause any relapse in that situation?
I don't like talking to exes. I don't believe in it. I don't. Even the ones that are cordial, it's really like happy birthday and congrats on your promotion publicly written on Facebook. I'm not a fan. That's just me. But again, like I said, Allison's a tough chick from Brooklyn who's rough around the edges and maybe too argumentative. So that's just me. I'm not a fan of keeping in contact. There's nothing wrong with it, but once both parties are happy and in successful relationships. But in the circumstance you just said, that is not the case. In the circumstance you just said, this person is in essence wounded and trying to heal and may be susceptible to anything. Manipulation, let's have one more tryst, like, yeah. So to go back to your point, I would not recommend it unless you were already in a good place, and you would not be contacting them if you were in a good place. So ergo, I don't recommend it.
Boom. There you go. Don't be reaching out to them for no closure because you don't really want none.
Oh yeah.
Close off.
I got a reels about closure. Closure is an opportunity for you to reconnect with that person. Y'all lying.
You just want them to lie to you again so you can go back and y'all can do the same dumb stuff again. Mm-hmm. Y'all really want that.
Nah, you could keep my basketball shorts and my hoodie and my hairpins and my lashes from 2017. Like, I don't need to reconnect with you to pick up something. You can ship it to me. I'll pay for the ship and I'll send it to you.
There you go. Cash out. Mm-hmm. All right. So Alison, you have dropped so many gems. I hear somebody call here. They said, take your time, Pastor. They love you. And I'm telling you, I was really pushing this because I really wanted to hear what you had to say. I think that you do an amazing job. I've looked at your page. I've watched the lives. I've joined. I think like one of them, since I've been following you, I was like, oh, I think I even commented like, I don't want to come on her page too often. She hitting home too close and I ain't feeling that right now. I don't need that advice. All right, we're going to take a few questions from the audience. If you guys got any questions, go ahead and drop them in there. And we are going to ask Alison a couple questions here. How do you know when you should get married? Ooh, Alison.
Mm-hmm. So if you are romantically involved with one person and they are two, which is you, right? So you're seeing each other exclusively and you both, one, believe in the sanctity and the institution of marriage, right? Because if one of you doesn't, then it's not going to work. You both believe in the institution and the sanctity of marriage. and you both have a desire to build a lifestyle together, then marriage seems like just the most appropriate next step. So committed relationship that is healthy, both believe in marriage, and you have a desire to be married to each other, then it's time. That's it. It's not some like, it's not the aquatic equation. Is it, what's it called? Like back in school? Like you solving for X? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a quadratic equation. Look at me trying to be smart. I don't even know the word. It's not a quadratic equation. It's not y equals mx plus b.
Exactly. It's very logical. It's natural to progress on its own. I like that. Let's see another one. See what we got here. It says, how do you stop chasing a man and get him to chase you again?
Sierra. We are not making anybody chase after anybody. That is impossible. Unless you put in roots or voodoo, which is beyond my scope, on somebody, you literally do not have the ability to make anyone chase after you. So I cannot answer the second half of your question. The way that I can answer the first half, which is how do you build the strength and the self-respect to stop chasing after someone who doesn't want you, is in my bio. Move On Sis, free ebook, link in my bio, download it and read it. I give you a 5-step approach.
Boom.
But we're not chasing after nobody, because it's not going to work out. How could it work? So even if you so to speak convince this gentleman that you're an appropriate match, what you going to do? Be convincing him every day for the rest of your life? Like, how exhausting is that you have to constantly prove yourself and your value and you can't just be? Nah, we're not chasing after nobody. Come on now.
I like that. I want to ask this. Is it safe to say that somebody that's returning the effort likes you? I feel like if you have to chase them or it's always a push and pull type thing, they don't like you enough. Because if they do like you, they're just going to return the effort. They're just I'm going to text you when I want to text you. I'm going to call you and let you know I like you and stuff like that. I feel like it's safe to say if they're not reciprocating that effort, they don't like you. And date people that like you. That's really simple. Date people that like you.
I cannot imagine any other way. If you are involved in a romantic relationship with someone who does not like you, it is problematic. Now, I do want to put a little precursor in that, right? That does not mean that you are perfect, and as a result, you should not be constantly working on becoming a better version of yourself just because your partner likes you. Your value is not equated to whether or not other people like you, right? Your value is equated to whether or not you are fulfilling your goals and your values that you have established for yourself. Are you pleased with who you are and who you're becoming? That's your value. So just because, mad dudes like me, that does not mean that you are valuable. And you should constantly be working on becoming the best version of yourself. But to go back to your main point of, yes, I can't imagine any other way. You need to be dating folks who like you. And ladies, and the gentlemen who are on here not gonna like this, you should be dating folks who like you just a little bit more than you like them.
Ooh. Now you gonna have to go on in on that one now, Allison, because people say that all the time. Women say date men that love you or like you more than you like them. Why? Why should you do it that way? Or tell me what's behind it. Tell me your thoughts behind that.
Well, I mean, it's what grandma used to say and grandmama used to say, right? But I think there is value in, and these, again, I'm going to preface this as I preface every live I do. These are broad statements. This does not encompass every human being on earth. These are generalities. We know that this is not everybody. However, I think generally speaking, women in relationships, heterosexual relationships, women in relationships will say, I like this guy enough, and so I will continue to be a good woman because I know that there aren't a lot of high value men and I will make it work. Even if she's not like enthralled, right? I think, and this is also arguable, that women are a lot more practical than we're made out to be. I think women are practical, so they'll say, I mean, he's not amazing, but he has this, and this is everything that I've looked for. I feel fulfilled, and so I'm going to push through. Not even push through, but I'm going to continue this. I don't think men think like that. I think that men are more hunters, and so they think she's cool, but there may be someone else who's of higher value. And so I'm going to keep her on the back burner. I'm going to continue to pursue and find out and see if there's anyone else out there who's a better match or higher value or whatever. And so for that reason, based on that logic and that theory of mine, it's a theory, it's not based in science, it's based in experience. As a result of that theory, it only makes sense for women to date men who are slightly more into them, so that if that dude is really into her, he's going to be committed to her, because she probably would have been relatively committed to him even if she wasn't falling all over the place.
Exactly. I love that. I like that. And I've heard people say that, but I've never really gotten, a good response as to why people think like that. But I like that. And I can definitely agree with here. Let's see. Get a couple comments. Men are the ones who make the decision to be in a relationship. The minute you chase them, they feel they have too many options. I'm just not chasing nobody. If you like me, you're going to show up right here. I ain't going to follow you down the street. Keep up. I ain't doing all that.
So I just want to make a slight comment in regards to that statement. I definitely believe with the second half, because we already established that. But the first half, in regards to men decide whether or not we want to be in a romantic relationship, that language scares me a little bit. For lack of a better term, it sounds a little rapey. Like, I'm a human being, and so we have both decided whether or not we want to be in a committed relationship. No one forced my hand. Nobody put a gun to my head, right? Now, what I would say is, perhaps because, as we mentioned before, I'm not getting on my knee to ask anybody for their hand in marriage. Right. So perhaps a man makes the final decision in regards to whether or not we're in, well, not even decision. He asks, and right. The woman says yes or no. But he presents, right? Like, he presents the opportunity, so to speak. But we have autonomy. Like, I can say no. I can say I don't want to be in a relationship with you. I can say I don't want to be married to you. So this whole thing about men making the decision, I think they make the offer.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
The mutual agreement.
Right. Here. It's an agreement. It's two ways here. So that kind of language just scares me a bit. Maybe you don't mean it literally, and I have a problem with that personally. Like, sometimes I take language a little bit too literally, and maybe I'm just missing it. But that phrasing always bothers me, that men decide. Like, you may have offered and then I accepted or rescinded, but you didn't make me do anything I didn't want to do.
Exactly. I definitely agree with you. That is a misogynistic, I guess you'd say, for that, because they do all, yeah, like, y'all run everything, but everything's basically a mutual agreement. You can't be in a relationship with me if I don't want to be in one with you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely agree with you. We can get y'all to do anything if y'all all over us. Just being real. Anyone can get anyone to do anything if they're all over them. A woman can get a man to do whatever she wants to do if he's all over. Anybody can be a yes man or a yes woman.
Mm-hmm.
But if you guys got any more questions, I'll take 2 more questions from the audience. I do have some from my other audience. It says, from Kim from Facebook says, why are so many women okay playing number 2 for a man until a man decides he doesn't want number 1?
Because they're stupid.
Ooh. She is a hip shooter. Right? She ain't saving y'all no space here. All right.
But I'm going to add the caveat. They're stupid if they believe that this gentleman is now going to upgrade them to number 1 and not do what he did to number 1 back to number 2. That's the stupidity, not the part of choosing to be a side chick. Like, whatever you choose to do. I'm not a fan of that position. Not even for me, really, just because I don't like to play other women. I don't want another woman to be under the impression that things are sweet and I know that she is involved with this guy and I'm still messing with him. So just like a woman to woman thing, I'm not a fan of. But if you decide to do it, that's perfectly fine once you understand that that's who you are. But if you're under the impression that you're going to go from the back seat to the front and he's not going to replace and put another warm ass in the back seat, then you're a fool and you deserve whatever happens.
Boom. Moving forward. Russ from Facebook says, can broken trust be restored?
Yeah. Broken trust can be restored if both parties desire it, and perhaps if they need some kind of professional help in order to restore it, then yeah.
Definitely agree with that. You never know. Being married doesn't define your happiness or purpose. No relationship does. You're whole without whether you're with someone or not. You are a great person. You know, your value doesn't go up or down depending on who you're with or if you're in a relationship. So yeah.
Yeah, father's first move, and I don't know what part of the live that you may be referring to, but yeah, I don't think we even hinted at that. I think I specifically stated the opposite, that we're not allowing others to decide our value.
Exactly.
Or our status, financial status, marital status, parental status, or otherwise.
Let's move forward. Facebook says, how do you keep a long-lasting relationship after 3 years? That's pretty vague. I don't really
3 years?
Yeah.
And you losing it already? That's long.
Allison. I don't know. Y'all gotta talk. Y'all gotta talk about something.
Yeah,
I mean, both feeling it.
The answer would be, I would imagine, they're talking about like sexually, you think? Is that what you gathered?
That was just a question. I just took it. I don't know. I think y'all need to have a conversation. if, like you said, you feel like 3 years is too early to be losing, y'all need to have a conversation. Y'all need to talk about why y'all feel like the way y'all feeling. And
if they mean sexually, then they could Google how to spice it up in the bedroom. If it's I don't know if that was their intent.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, okay, so before we go any further, what do you have any experience with intimacy and dealing with couples who are, having intimacy problems in their relationship?
Mm-hmm. So I don't work with couples. I work with single people. Right. And so I actually did an interview with a therapist. It's in my IGTVs a couple of stories back, a full hour, and we talked about intimacy in romantic relationships, because what I like to do when I do the interviewing, when I'm on the top box and they on the next box, I like to interview people who are in my realm but don't service the same people that I do. So this person talks about relationships and married couples for significant periods of time and intimacy. Okay. And so those are the kind of interviews that I do. So unfortunately, I can't answer that question because that's not my area of expertise. I think it's important that people stay in their lane and coach what they know and teach what they teach.
Okay, y'all heard it. Don't get out your lane. How long should one stay in a relationship before calling it a quits?
Come on now. You know that there's no number attached. There's no number attached. You're not going to say, oh, we've been together for 50 years, so we might as well. You should stay in the relationship as long as it serves you. When it stops serving you, then you should seek to fix it. Then if that's not working on your own, you seek out professional help. And if that's not working, then you leave the relationship. There's no time frame on this. We don't stay for the sake of staying because we already been. It's not like, when you're waiting for the bus when we were younger, right? And like, damn, I already been here 20 minutes, so I might as well. Nah, start walking to the next bus stop and then look back. And then you start walking to the next stop and then you look back. And then you might make it home before the bus even comes.
Yo, that was a dope ass analogy. I like that one. I like that one. Y'all hear it? Y'all better take that advice, because look, I ain't got no man. I don't really be like giving out relations. I don't be in no relationships. I don't be knowing for real, y'all. Y'all laughing at us. Y'all are so funny. I can't believe I just drew a complete blank. I had another question, but it's fine, whatever. Alison, I want to thank you for joining us today. I had so much fun with you. I love that you are shooting straight from the hip. This was much more fun than, did I say that right? Much more fun than I anticipated. I'm just going to get a very hype episode. Everybody was really looking forward to talking with you and definitely answering some questions and just really hearing from you. So thank you for coming. I genuinely do appreciate having you kick off our episode of the year.
Hey, good.
Right. Okay. So, guys, Alison, tell everyone where they can find you at, where they can find you on social media and whatnot.
Sure. So I am at Align with Alison. I need you to align with me. I need you to get your life together. All right. That's the the New York accent. So it's at Align with Alison, ALIGN with Alison. That's on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and TikTok and Clubhouse and Pinterest. Right. I think that's it. I made a Pinterest. You know what I did? I just took all the names. You should do the same thing too. Take all the names, because when Let's Talk blows up, there's going to be phonies who are going to try to take your names. I need to get on every platform that's available just to lock it down. My website is alignwithalison.com, but I'm really most active on my Instagram page. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, concerns, thoughts. Think of me as your straightforward friend. I'm your straightforward internet friend. So I have people who DM me all the time, and I tell them straight off, like, this is what you should or should not do. Whether or not they take it, I don't know. And then after that first piece of advice, this is my profession. So you could go ahead and book a call, and then we can continue thereafter.
There you go. Because ain't nobody giving out that for free now. Okay.
Now, I do have my free ebook. The link is in my bio. Move on, sis.
There you go.
And I also have a paid book, which is called The 10 Love Commandments, where I break down the 10 necessary elements of a healthy relationship. And of course, communication is in there. So feel free to support that way if you like. But you can download the freebies until you feel like you're either supported and so you're good, or you're not supported enough. And then I can step in and help on a professional level.
I love it. Y'all got to go book a consultation with her. I know all y'all need help because y'all was all in my DMs asking me questions. So go book her. Don't act like y'all don't need her help. I know y'all need it. I might book you too, so that's between you and I, though.
All right.
But before you leave, you got to go out the same way you came in, Alison. You got to give us something else that you're grateful for.
Okay, so I opened up by saying I'm grateful for my husband. So I'm going to close out I mean, I'm grateful for so many things, but okay, I got it. I am grateful for my parents' good health.
Ooh.
They're in their late 60s, and especially with COVID, they have been unaffected. They remain healthy and vibrant. So I'm thankful for that.
You cannot go wrong with that. Shout out to all the parents that are here. And if they are passed on, we are always sorry to hear that. I hope they're resting in peace. But before I go out, like to say where I came in, I'm going to say that I am grateful. I'm just grateful for life today. I had a really good day. Got some fresh air. You can't go wrong with that. Got some new music on my phone. So I'm just grateful to be here, y'all. You guys have heard where you can follow Alison. You guys can also follow me on Instagram at MissCarter_1X. That is my personal page. This episode will be on YouTube tomorrow. And I want to thank my beautiful, beautiful guest, Alison, for joining us today. And I want to thank my awesome audience for coming in this Tuesday like y'all do every Tuesday. Come back and kick it with me next Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Instagram Live. We have another great episode for you. As always, my name is Cherrell Carter, you guys. I'm the host of Let's Talk the Show, and this ain't a podcast. I'll see everybody next Tuesday. Thank you, Alison. See ya.
Bye.